everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with what I think is a very exciting video. So recently, and by recently I mean like predominantly for the last 2 years, I've been reading books that are very popular, that are all over the internet, that everyone is talking about, that everyone has thoughts on one way or the other. And I'm in a bit of a slump recently, to be honest. I really miss that feeling of just seeing a book and thinking, that looks good, I'm gonna read it. I've not been doing that. I've been listening to everyone else's opinions on books. So I thought for today's video, we could do somewhere in the middle, because I am still on a book buy ban. I'm still not going to go out to the shops and buy physical copies. But what I thought we could do is randomly scroll through Kindle Unlimited and find books that I have just never heard of, that I've never seen anyone talk about positively or negatively, that I haven't seen on my Goodreads feed, that I just have no recollection of seeing. I have no thoughts about them. I don't even know what the books are about. I've not even read the blurbs of these books. I am purely going off the title and the cover and the fact that they are all romances that are on Kindle Unlimited. So the first book that we're going to read for this video is Cash by Jessica Peterson, and I have already started it. I don't have my Kindle on me to check, but I haven't read very much. I've only read like 2 chapters of it. And dare say I'm a little bit obsessed. I am a tiny bit obsessed. I'm not saying, right, let me actually tell you what it's about first. It's a cowboy romance, basically. A small town cowboy romance. We've got our 2 main characters. One of them lives in the small town and he runs this ranch. But he doesn't own the ranch that he runs. His family do have a ranch, but his parents have passed away and they can't afford to keep it running. So they still own the ranch, but they're not running it as like a functioning business at the moment. He is, though, the foreman, so like the manager of the ranch next door. The owner of the ranch passes away, and his daughter, who is our other main character, comes into town for the reading of his will. She's expecting to just kind of come in, get the money and go and get back to her life. She lives in Dallas in Texas, and this ranch is in a really tiny Texas town, like in the middle of nowhere. So she's a city girl, she's not a small town girl at all. And that plan doesn't necessarily come to fruition, and that's only as far in as I've got. So we've basically got a city girl and a small town boy who meet and do not get along at all, do not make a good first impression on each other. And I'm hoping that we're going to get to see a lot of the ranch. I do tend to like, in a cowboy romance, a ranch setting. So I am very much looking forward to that. And yeah, we will see how the book goes, but so far I'm really enjoying it. Hello everyone, I come to you whilst I'm doing my morning skincare. Sorry for I'm just starting this in the middle of rubbing my moisturiser in. I'm now about halfway through Cash, and I'm definitely liking it. It is a page turner, not because there's like that much going on. It's very just like following them around this ranch. I can tell you a bit more now what it's about. So Molly, who is like definitely a city person, is now on the ranch. Obviously I'm not going to like spoil anything, but you know at the beginning that she's going to the ranch. She's there for, and we don't know how long she's going to stay, but she's there now, and she's learning all about the ranch and the animals and the machines, but it's not like boringly technical. They don't explain all of that to the reader. She's going around learning all of that, kind of trying to settle in a little bit on the ranch. Again, she doesn't know how long she's staying either. She's just there at this point in the book to see what is going on there. And I'm definitely enjoying it. As I said, it's very easy to read. Is it the most well-written thing I've ever read? No. It's written very colloquially, very kind of, I don't know, light-hearted almost. But it's easy. Like, it's really easy to read. I'm not completely obsessed with it, though. I definitely like there's nothing really that's massively wrong with it. It's just an easy breezy palette cleanser type of book. It's not hitting for me the same way that like Rebel Blue did, for example. But I do like it. I do like where the romance is going. It is just a little bit tiny bit cringy in some places though. I feel like he keeps calling her city girl like every 2 lines, and it's just a bit like, okay, yeah, we get it. Like, call her something else. It's just a bit, I don't know, it's a bit blatant. Everything's kind of in your face a little bit in that way. Like, she's calling him cowboy, but that makes a bit more sense because like he is a cowboy and they call each other cowboys as well, so it's not just her saying that. But yeah, Cash just keeps calling her city girl, and it's a bit weird at this point. Like, okay, yeah, we get it, she's from Dallas. Like, I don't think we need to keep reiterating that. But other than that, I am enjoying it. It's definitely dislike to love. Like, they did not like each other at the beginning at all. And it does seem, I'm a bit, I don't know, that it is building gradually. It is. But at the moment, they've not really had, they've had like one kind of half emotional conversation, but I'm not seeing a lot of like real emotional depth at the moment. I worry that it's going to be more physical than emotional, and I don't mind if the physical attraction comes first, but I really hope we also get to see them connect emotionally as well. But yeah, we'll see. Obviously, I'm only like halfway through, so we've still got plenty of book to go. Hello, please excuse the messy background, I'm sorry. I don't know if I've said it in this video because I'm filming 2 vlogs at the same time. I've been renovating the house, painting the kitchen, so there's just stuff everywhere that like should be in the kitchen, and it's just ended up in the living room. So apologies for the messy background. But I have finished Cash, and I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. There was definitely some things that niggled me, and I wasn't sure throughout the book what I would rate it. It was sitting at like a 3.5. But by the end, it was a 4. It was just a silly, fun, goofy time. Was the romance perfectly paced? No. Was there quite a lot of spice rather than a lot of emotional development? Yes. But honestly, I think it was the setting that tipped it in its favour for me. I loved how much time they spent on the ranch. I loved how we got to see Molly learning how to, like, I don't know, vaccinate the cows and ride a horse. Like, we really got to see her living that ranch life. And I just absolutely loved that about the book. I loved the setting and the whole atmosphere and the found family and the friends, and it was just stunning. But there were a few things I didn't like. As I said, I thought the romance was a bit, not oddly paced. It's not like it was complete insta-love. They definitely didn't like each other at the beginning. I think what the problem is I think the author thought, okay, to convince my readers of this romance, I need to make sure that in this book there is a scene of them having fun together and like letting loose. There needs to be a scene where they have some kind of emotional conversation, not about their feelings for each other, but about something else that just allows them to break down that barrier a little bit. We need to have a spice scene to show the physical attraction, and we need to have a love confession scene. My problem is that those 4 things weren't interwoven throughout the whole narrative. It felt like at the beginning, okay, let's laugh. Okay, tick, we've got that scene. They've laughed. They've done something fun. On to the next. I don't feel like we kept then seeing little scenes of them laughing and having fun together. And I'm not saying they didn't, but does that make sense? I feel like it was more of a tick list. Okay, they've done that, they've done that, they've done that, they've done that, now they're in love. Rather than it being kind of a seamless, interwoven thing throughout the whole book. I'm not saying it's like, it's not going to be a new modern classic, but it was just fun. And it was exactly what I needed, just a fun, silly, goofy time. And I think that's probably what the 3 books in this video will be. Just fun, easy to read, quick, not perfect, but entertaining romance books. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. I'm not sure which book I'm going to read next for this video. As I said, I'm filming 2 vlogs at the same time, and I'm finishing up the other one today, so I'm going to focus on that today, read the books for that video, and then I will pop back into this video and we'll decide which of the 2 books I'm going to read next. I think at least one of them is a hockey romance. I'm not sure what the other one is, and I think I might kind of be in the mood for a hockey romance, so we might pick that one up, but we'll decide. Hello, I am back with my next read for this video. So another KU romance that I have never heard of before. And the next one we're going to read is Famous Last Words by, oh, who's it by? Obviously I'll put the cover on the screen. I can't remember the author's name. It's like vaguely in the back of my head, but I can't remember it. Anyway, this book, this is the one we're reading now. I am already 100 pages in. The reason I've not spoke to you before now is because I've not really known what to say, but I think I finally got to a point in the book where I can kind of share my thoughts on it. So, first of all, the premise. In this book, we follow Harlow and Connor. Harlow's parents have passed away and she was taken in by her best friend's family, and Connor is her best friend's half-brother. They are very, very standoffish with each other at the beginning. They do not talk to each other. Oh, for context, they're at the same university. So they completely ignore each other. They don't tell anybody why. We as the reader don't know why. We can like make a couple of assumptions based on the fact that he is her best friend's half-brother, so you can assume it's some kind of familial issue, but it's not explained why. I'll get onto that more in a moment. But that is the general setup of the book, that they do not get on at all. Again, it's contemporary romance, so I'm not calling it enemies to lovers, but it's like very strong dislike. So they're at university together, completely ignoring each other. However, it isn't really explained why, and their lack of interaction is very extreme. So Harlow used to date one of Connor's teammates, because Connor is a hockey player. I don't think I'm explaining this very well. Connor's a hockey player. Harlow dated one of his teammates. So the rest of the hockey team like know who she is. They say hi to her in public. And like the way that she thinks about Connor and the way that Connor thinks about her, because the book is dual point of view, is very extreme, like kind of hatred towards each other. But we're not told why. And for the first 50 pages, I was like, okay, maybe it's coming, like we're setting up the tension, blah, blah, blah. But it got to a point around 50 to 70 pages in where I was like, I kind of need to know why they don't like each other, because I'm finding it really difficult to get invested in either one of them when I don't know who the problem is or what has actually gone on. And I'm still kind of in that space now. We've had a brief explanation, and I'm obviously not going to say what it was, but I don't actually know if that is the explanation of why they don't like each other or if that's just background context. If that's the reason they don't like each other, it seems very odd. It definitely makes sense why they wouldn't have a relationship, but their kind of extreme hatred for each other right now at this point in the book does not make sense to me. To be fair, if I was him, I'd find her quite annoying as well, because as a general FMC, she's fine. Like, she doesn't show me as someone that's particularly irritating, but she like acts like she knows a lot about his life. And another thing I don't understand is that I got the impression that they knew each other, because that's her best friend's half brother. I got the impression that they knew each other growing up, but didn't get along. So therefore they would know a lot about each other's lives, so the hatred would make sense. However, it then says that she didn't talk to him or see him or know him at all until they went to university, where she also doesn't speak to him. So that was weird. But then the book keeps contradicting itself. Like, I can't figure out what their past actually is and how involved they've actually been in each other's lives up until this point. I cannot figure it out for the life of me, because the book seems to keep changing its mind. That is putting a bit of a dampener on the whole book, because the whole point is that they don't like each other. But if I don't understand why they don't like each other, or where this hatred has come from, or how long the hatred has been happening, like, how am I supposed to get connected to the characters and decide whether I want to root for them or not? Because they both could be awful people for all I know. Anyway, I feel like in the book it really bigged it up, as if like I thought he'd like killed a cat or something. Like, it made it out to be really extreme as to why she hated him. But I'm getting the feeling it's probably not that extreme, and it's just a natural consequence of her being best friends with his half brother, who he also doesn't get along with. I don't know. I'm finding that all very confusing. Other than that, the book's fine. It's finally picking up now. I was considering DNFing because it was just annoying me and I found it really boring. I'm now 100 pages in and things are picking up. We've had a bit of a development, a bit too quick of a development, to be honest. They've been talking, not romantically, but just interacting kind of out of nowhere for a while now in the book, and I'm at the 100-page mark. And there seems like there's going to be spice soon. I don't want to obviously spoil the story, but I do want to give people a heads up. Like, it feels like this is a book where the spice is very much going to come first. But I'm hoping that because they have such deep negative feelings towards each other, the positive feelings will also be very deep and there'll be a strong emotional connection. Keeping my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that from here on out, it's going to get better. It's like well written, don't get me wrong. It's annoying me. Hello everyone. I finished Famous Last Words last night. I didn't do a 50% check-in because honestly at 50% through the book, I still didn't know how I felt. I didn't really have anything new to say. And all of my previous comments still stand. I think the whole waiting to reveal the backstories to me was unsatisfying and didn't make sense. If it had been something quite dramatic, it would have made sense, but it wasn't. It was a very basic kind of backstory. Like, the situation wasn't that extreme to me to hold off on telling us details. I think I would have been able to get much more invested in both the characters and the relationship had I known earlier in the book why they hated each other so much. I'm not obviously going to tell you why, but ultimately I think the reason that they hated each other was very unsatisfying and honestly didn't make much sense. Like I said before as well, I wasn't clear on how much they knew each other before. You do find that out kind of in dribs and drabs, but again, I found that unsatisfying and I don't understand why we weren't told straight away whether or not they've met before, whether or not they've spoken before. Like, I don't know. I just personally found it confusing trying to figure out what their backstory was, not individually, but together, like what kind of interactions they had had before, if any. I didn't hate the book by any means. I gave it a 3-star. I actually quite enjoyed it towards the end. I'd say once I got past like the 150-page mark, I couldn't put it down. I stayed up last night to finish it, so I think that tells you something. I definitely didn't love this, and I don't think I'll remember it for the rest of my life. I probably won't really think of it again, and I won't be rushing to read the rest of the series. But I've realised, I didn't know this is the same author that wrote Fake Empire, which I've been wanting to read for years. So I think I might give that one a go and see if I like that. It's not got the best reviews, to be honest. But yeah, I never put two and two together and realised that they are the same author. But I'd never heard of this book and this series before. So yeah, would I recommend this? I honestly think there's better hockey romances out there, personally. I just don't think this one kind of adds anything special or different, and yeah, I found it a bit confusing. So that is that one done, and I'm going to start my next book this morning whilst I eat breakfast before I start work. Is the morning, hence why I think I sound a bit sleepy and I'm not ready for the day yet. It's because it's pre 8 a.m. at the moment. But anyway, our next book is going to be Cocky Score. The title already is getting my back up a bit. I don't love the title, but I'm really trying not to judge the book. I honestly have no idea what this is about. I haven't even read the synopsis. I am someone that likes to go into books blind. I know it's a hockey romance, that's enough. I will come back in when I'm maybe like 10% in or something, just to let you know what's going on and how I'm feeling kind of off the bat. Hello, it's the same day. I'm now on my lunch break and I've just been sat reading this book and I need to talk about it. Please ignore the clothes horse and please ignore the random clips in my hair. My hair was irritating me, so I've just clipped it back out my face. Anyway, right, okay, so I am, let's see how far I am in. 3%, 3% into this book, and it's testing every shred of my patience. Okay, point number one. This book opens, and the plot of this book is based around the fact that our male main character and two of his hockey playing friends have been accused of sexual assault. And they're adamant that they haven't done it. It's a false accusation. They've got proof that they haven't. They weren't even there in the place at the time that the assault was meant to have happened. There's proof that they never went into the room where it allegedly happened, etc., etc. I think that's an odd choice, personally, as the opener for a book. So the point of that is that the MMC will have a bad public image and he will need a PR person to swoop in and save him. And I assume the FMC is going to be said PR person that swoops in and saves him. However, I just think there were literally millions of other options you could have taken to paint him in a bad light to set up this plot. Why did it have to be a false sexual assault allegation? Now, obviously that happens. Obviously, some people make false allegations. Of course they do, and of course that's an issue. However, with the current discourse in the world the last few years, and with people not being believed when they come forward, this just seems like an odd choice to me for what is supposed to be a light, fluffy romance book. We are not going to get into a level of nuance in this book that will unpack that scenario enough to make it worthwhile commentary. I'm really sorry if you can hear the wind outside, by the way. It is storming today in England. Anyway, I just think if you're not writing a book that's actually going to do that topic justice, just don't do it. Just don't do it. You're never going to get to a level of detail in this book that properly sets out the issues and the interdependencies, but also the complete separation of false allegations versus actual assaults that take place. I just think it's weird. I don't think we need that to set this book up. Just having punched someone on the ice and say, oh no, this is a family friendly team, you can't punch people now, I need a PR agent. Just do something like that. So that's issue number one. However, I thought, okay, this is what we've got. Let me read on a little bit and start to see how this issue is handled. Maybe I'm assuming wrong. Maybe we're going to have a proper discussion about this, and we still might. I'm only 3% in. However, I don't actually think I can get past the writing to even get to the point where we might have a productive discussion about sexual assault. I'm just going to read you a couple of examples of quotes in this book to illustrate the way that this is written, okay? This is a paragraph. I'm going to show you the screen. I'm literally 11 pages in, so I'm not even going to call this spoilers. Look at this paragraph here. That's all one sentence. Let me read it out. He takes a drink of his own overpriced bottle of water, his expensive designer watch catching the light of the new globe chandeliers Erica had installed last year to replace the ones that came with the building originally, but were probably designed for a police station interrogation room, not a multi-million-dollar public relations conference room where big contract deals are made. What? I don't understand. Every time these people have a conversation, it gets interrupted by randomly inserted paragraphs describing random stuff. Like, the owner of the company has asked, oh no, not the owner, another character has asked, give me a rundown of the situation. And then our main character's just thinking about the chandeliers. Like, what's that got to do with the price of fish? I don't understand what's going on. Anyway, let me give you some more examples of awful writing in this book. So this girl says that she's thirsty, reaches for a bottle of water. Her colleague gives her a bottle of water. However, again, in the middle of a conversation, we just break off from the dialogue and go into a half-page description of the label, not even the bottle of water. We go into a half-page description of a water bottle label. The bottle label showcases a tropical background that hints at the fact that they're overpriced. Sorry, is this a GCSE business essay where we're analysing the packaging of products and the messages that that sends to the potential buyers? No, it's a romance book. It continues. It's probably a placebo effect, but I swear the water does taste better than the bottled waters I buy in the coffee shop downstairs in the building's lobby. I unscrew the bottled water and take a sip. I'm not sure you need to tell me you're going to take a sip. That's how you drink. You've said that you're thirsty, you've picked up a bottle of water. Thanks, but I don't need it spelling out to me that you're therefore going to drink the bottle of water. I got that. I picked up what you were putting down when you said you were thirsty and you grabbed a bottle of water. Do you see what I mean? Everything is so overwritten and so over-explained. I'm sure there was another example, but I don't care enough to find it. So yeah, I'm struggling. Do I think I'm going to finish this book? No. Do I think I'm even going to get 5% of the way through? No. I will read to the end of this chapter at least. I'm in the middle of a chapter right now. I've lost my place. They just keep talking about penises as well. Anyway, I've lost my place. I'm going to find my place, read to the end of this chapter, and honestly, if I'm still feeling the same, I think we'll just DNF and call this video a day. I don't see a world in which I'm going to finish this book and have anything positive really to say, and I'm not trying to put myself in a reading slump. So I'm going to go finish my chapter. I will probably speak to you now after work. What time is it? Yeah, I've got like 9 minutes left of my lunch break, so I'll just read a few more pages and then I will speak to you after work and let you know whether or not I've made a decision or whether I'm going to carry on a bit further into the book and see if it improves, I guess. Hello everybody. Apologies that I'm talking quietly. I'm hoping the mic is going to help. It's quite early in the morning and I'm the only one awake, so I don't want to talk too loud. So I got 15% into Cocky Score. Oh, also, yeah, I've chopped my hair off into a bob. Did that yesterday. I think this is going to be the bob debut on the channel. I think this is the first video going up with any bob in it. I got 15% into Cocky Score and I can't do it anymore. I cannot in good faith continue to read this book. I think we already established that I hated the premise anyway. I mean, that got my back up immediately. But the writing also, in my opinion, is just not great. The same thing that I said before with the overly descriptive descriptions about random things that we don't need in detailed description of, like a water bottle label. I also then had a quick look at the reviews thinking, am I just being a bitch? Like, is the writing that bad? And apparently it gets worse. Apparently it's like the book hasn't been edited. There's random paragraphs that appear in multiple chapters, not in like as a stylistic choice, as like purposeful repetition, but as if the author wanted to move events around and just forgot and put the same event in multiple chapters, like the exact same word for word paragraph in multiple chapters. So that's not me saying I would never read from this author. I assume this is probably quite an early work of hers and maybe she didn't have an editor, like it's probably self-published, so I'm not like judging it too hard. I get it, but also there's no point me reading it when I already know I don't like the actual plot, I don't like the characters, they're all really annoying and like caricatures basically, and I also don't like the writing. So there's nothing about the book that I'm enjoying, so there's no point me sitting here and reading it, in my opinion. It's the year of the DNF for me, truly. I'm DNFing so many books, which is bad because it means I'm not choosing books that I like, but it's good because I'm not forcing myself to read them, and I'm spending my time reading books that I actually want to read. So, what is my verdict on Kindle Unlimited? Despite the fact that this one didn't go too well, I still recommend Kindle Unlimited. I think it's a great way to read from indie authors and to support them because their paperbacks can be quite expensive. I think this is a great way to support them if you're not able or not in a position to buy like expensive paperbacks, and a lot of libraries don't tend to have indie authors, so I think this is a great way to support indie authors and try out their books. I liked the other 2 books that I read in this video and I would read from all 3 of these authors again. When it comes to Kenna King, who wrote Coffee Score, I would just read something a bit more recent of hers and see if things have improved, because I think there's definitely potential there. I think maybe I just chose like the wrong book of hers to read, But yeah, I very much enjoyed reading this. I found a new favourite series. I haven't carried on yet with the Lucky River Ranch series, but I definitely want to. Like, I'm really, really excited to carry on with that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed. Please give it a thumbs up down below if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.